Good morning. Today is Friday, October 3rd, 2025, and for the third straight day, parts of the United States government are closed. This is what we call a government shutdown. Think of the government like a giant household. It needs money to pay its bills, just like your family does. Congress is in charge of approving the budget, but right now, our leaders in Washington can't agree. So, the money has stopped flowing, and many parts of the government must stop working. It's like a store closing its doors because it can't afford to pay its employees. Not everything shuts down. Some services are considered essential, like the military and air traffic controllers. But even they might not get paid on time. This is a partial shutdown. Some agencies stay open, others close. The result? A patchwork of problems across the country. One office might be open while the one next door is shuttered. People wake up not knowing if they have a job to go to or if the services they rely on will be there. It affects our economy, our communities, and our sense of stability. The core problem is a deep disagreement in Washington. Democrats and Republicans have very different ideas about how the country's money should be spent. Neither side is willing to give in, so until they compromise, many government services will remain closed. This isn't just a news story in the Capitol. It has real consequences for people all across America. From small business owners near national parks to families waiting for government checks, everyone is affected. We are all connected to this in some way. How did we get here? The shutdown began because Congress couldn't pass a law to fund the government. This isn't an accident, it's a political strategy. Both parties believe they can win by holding their ground, betting the public will blame the other side. The Republican Party, led by President Trump, wants big cuts in federal spending, arguing the government is too big and wasteful. They see the shutdown as a chance to force change. Democrats, meanwhile, are blocking Republican funding bills in the Senate, using the filibuster. Their main argument: the GOP plan would hurt millions, making healthcare more expensive for working families. Each side accuses the other of causing the crisis. It's a classic Washington standoff, both sides locked in, trying to win public support. Republicans say they're fighting for fiscal responsibility. Democrats say they're protecting essential services. In the middle are the American people, feeling the effects grow with each passing day. The key question: which side will blink first? The White House is playing hardball, using the shutdown to push for permanent cuts to the federal workforce. Instead of just furloughing workers, the administration is threatening permanent layoffs, known as a reduction in force. Already, billions in funds for infrastructure and climate projects have been frozen or canceled, targeting states that lean Democratic. The message: cooperate, or your constituents will feel the pain. Even before the shutdown, the administration was shrinking government with major staff cuts at key agencies. The Department of Education lost 42% of its staff. The National Park Service, 34%. The shutdown is now a tool to accelerate this process. The White House is betting the public is tired of big government and will support these cuts. Vice President J.D. Vance and OMB Director Russ Vought say layoff plans are ready if the shutdown drags on. This puts immense pressure on Democrats and on hundreds of thousands of federal workers facing an uncertain future. The stakes are high. Temporary furloughs could become permanent pink slips. The administration is gambling that standing firm will deliver policy victories impossible in normal times. Democrats are using the Senate filibuster to block Republican funding bills. The House-passed bill has failed 3 times in the Senate, with Democrats united in opposition. Their message: the Republican budget would make health insurance more expensive and slash vital programs. By blocking the bills, Democrats say they're defending ordinary Americans. They're also working to make sure the public blames the GOP for the shutdown, holding press conferences and appearing on news shows. Democrats argue that since Republicans control Congress and the White House, the responsibility is theirs. They accuse President Trump of causing chaos for political gain. But this strategy has risks. Democrats can be seen as obstructionists, too. Some cracks are showing. One House Democrat voted for the GOP bill, disagreeing with his party's hardball tactics. Still, most Democrats believe this is a fight worth having. They're betting that as the shutdown drags on, pressure will build on Republicans to compromise. The goal: force a clean funding bill without controversial policy changes. Behind the political battles, there's a real human cost. Every day, about 750,000 federal employees are furloughed, sent home without pay. For these families, The shutdown is a personal financial crisis. Essential workers, military, TSA, Border Patrol, must work without pay, adding stress and anxiety. The first missed paychecks are expected soon, hitting morale hard. The timing is especially tough. 100,000 federal workers who took early retirement buyouts now face delayed paperwork and payments. Many are stuck in limbo, caught in a fight they didn't choose. The shutdown's impact ripples out. Federal employees visit food banks, contractors are laid off, and local businesses near government offices suffer. The longer it lasts, the deeper the wounds. This is the quiet, personal story of a shutdown, families struggling to get by. Communities feel the pain as customers disappear and uncertainty grows. The shutdown isn't just about politics, it's about real people trying to provide for their families. The financial wounds cut deeper every day. The shutdown's impact goes far beyond federal workers. National parks are closed or unstaffed, with trash piling up and local economies suffering. Some states are using their own money to keep parks open, but it's only a temporary fix. Travel is disrupted, passport processing slows, and unpaid TSA agents and air traffic controllers face mounting stress. If more call in sick, airport delays could worsen. The federal court system is running on emergency funds, with trials likely to be postponed soon. Programs like WAC, which helps pregnant women and children, could run out of money if the shutdown drags on. The National Flood Insurance Program has already expired, leaving many unprotected. Even economic data releases are delayed, making it harder to track the economy. Government watchdogs are shut down, raising concerns about ethics violations going unchecked. Some agency websites are posting partisan messages, with no one left to investigate. The shutdown is eroding the normal functions and safeguards of government. It's more than an inconvenience, it's a breakdown of essential services. In Washington, the shutdown has become a blame game. Republicans say Democrats are blocking funding and refusing to negotiate. They argue they passed a bill in the House, but Democrats in the Senate are holding it up. The White House frames the shutdown as a necessary battle to fix a broken system. Democrats counter that the GOP controls Congress and the White House, so the responsibility is theirs. They say they're willing to compromise, but won't accept a budget that hurts families. Both sides use press conferences and social media to push their message. For most Americans, it's just noise. They want government to work. But in Washington, winning the blame game often seems more important than finding a solution. Cracks are starting to show behind the scenes as the shutdown drags on. Some moderate Republicans are uneasy about mass layoffs, while a few Democrats are breaking ranks to support a funding bill. President Trump's unpredictability adds to the uncertainty. He could change strategy at any moment. Lawmakers hesitate to take a stand, unsure if the president will shift course. These small cracks suggest the political pain is growing on both sides. As constituents complain about closed parks and missed paychecks, pressure to compromise increases. The question: will these cracks lead to a breakthrough, or will party leaders hold the line? The next few days will be critical. So, what happens now? The government remains partially shut down, with no end in sight. Quiet talks are underway, with moderates from both parties exploring a compromise. The most likely solution: a short-term funding bill, or continuing resolution, to reopen the government for a few weeks. This would give both sides time to negotiate a long-term deal, while providing relief to federal workers and the public. For this to work, both parties must agree that the shutdown is more damaging than compromise. President Trump would need to pause his push for deep cuts. Democrats would have to set aside some demands. The next few days will show if back-channel talks can break the stalemate. The government will eventually reopen. The question is, how much damage will be done first? Most Americans just want their leaders to do their jobs and get the country back to business. We'll be watching closely as this story develops.